afternoon. We'll wait for this guy to roll up his water hose. We are in the Salmon home base of Sutco. And I'm exiting all backwards like, but yeah, it's the most convenient for how I parked.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Oh, yeah. Oh, please like and subscribe. Yeah. That good. Yeah. Ha ha.
Used to, coming up this drive, this used to be the only driveway out of here, and in the winter the steep angle would cause you to spin out. Such a steep angle, the automatic doesn't know what to do. So they built a new driveway. And normally we exit on the other driveway. We enter on this driveway and exit on the other one. Okay. Nice hour-long break. Well, it wasn't a real break, but did a safety core interview. Basically, he asked a bunch of questions about safety, how the company is. Basically, it's an evaluation on how the company is doing on safety. It's a good little interview. Lots of things we're doing right. A couple of things we could improve on. There's always stuff to improve on, right? So unloaded the ambulance in Castlegar today morning. And then I was supposed to come here to Sutco to deliver the other 2 boxes of for a like a Quonset shelter. You see those round frame shelters with tarps over them? 2 boxes of those. But what I did was I went and loaded a Klesnikov with the boxes still on the trailer. I went to the Forklift Driver and asked really nicely, it's like, hey, by any chance, would you be willing to unload those boxes, load me, and then throw those boxes on top? Because they're really light and they won't affect the trailer load. We'll load the trailer as if there's no boxes, and then we'll throw the boxes on after. Because I've got a US load, so I'll be underweight for Canadian anyway, and it saves me 40 minutes of coming over here, unloading those 2 boxes, and then 40 minutes driving back. And they said, sure. The sun's pretty low in the sky this time of year. We're pretty much facing directly south. We're currently on Highway 6. Coming down into Salmon, so southbound into Salmon. Oh, the ABS one turned off. When did the ABS turn off? Yes! I get the Kootenai Pass with no ABS light on. Small victories, right? Yeah, I came into Salmon to unload, and one of our safety guys just go, any chance, are you just passing through, or are you willing to stick around a little bit to do an interview? And I'm like, yeah, sure, we can take a half hour off. It's perfect. And it took an hour long because we kept talking about the questions asked. I feel like he really actually cares about his job and wants to improve things, and whenever you run into someone like that, it's like, okay, I will invest more time into this person and see if we can come up with ideas to improve things. Improving is good. So this is Salmon. Very nice old little town. I can see myself living here. Now we're gonna turn onto Highway 3, eastbound, do Kootenai Pass again, or the Salmon Creston, depending on how you're used to calling the pass. Load of lumber. Try to get more lumber on, but whoever built this load on paper built it way overweight. So put 3 less bundles on the paperwork said to put on. It's like I had 1 PSI of space left on the drives and 2 PSI of space on the trailer. Like, there's no way, no matter how much we play around, get another bundle on, let alone 3. Road's nice and dry here. We're going to be running into snow sooner or later. Compact snow, slushy and slippery. Guess we're in a rush, huh? Alberta. Not surprising. Oh, look, Alberta. Funny thing is, when you go to Alberta, frog in my throat, most of the drivers there are great. It just seems like the drivers that come here for vacation or whatever reason, there are so many Alberta drivers on this highway, they seem to be always speed demons. They like to go fast in a straight line anyway. As soon as a corner comes, they're in trouble. Depending on where from Alberta they're from. Man, today's actually turned out to be really nice. It is now 1:30 p.m. 5 degrees Celsius outside. I think I picked the best time to cross the Kootenays. Last night, had a message that there was very long lineups. The road was closed because there were so many trucks chaining up. And even today morning, coming down the Paulson, I slept in Grand Forks. Coming down the Paulson, I caught up with this car after the brake check. They were doing 60 kilometers per hour in the 100 kilometer zone. And it was all snow, compact snow. And I'm like, this is actually really grippy snow. Like, there's no reason we should be driving this slow. But we're going to let them drive within their means. It's alright. I'm not going to complain. I was quite patient, no issues. And as we come further down the mountain, the snow ended and everything just looked wet. I looked at my temperature gauge, -6 degrees Celsius. I look in the mirror, we're driving on this black stuff that looks wet, and I'm getting 0 mist coming off of my tires. I'm like, this is not wet. This is black ice. We are on solid black ice. It was miles of this solid black ice coming down the mountain. So I slowed down for corners, just creeping. I was now driving slower than that car was driving on the snow stuff, and the car just disappears. Floored it, just gone. I'm like, that car thinks we're on a wet road. That car does not realize we're driving on black ice. Always slow down extra slow when there's workers out. So yeah, if your car doesn't have a temperature gauge inside the car, when you see a black wet road, look in the mirrors. Is there any mist coming off of your car? If the answer is no, you're most likely driving on solid black ice. Don't hit the brakes, but just slow down. Foot off the throttle, let it coast, slow her down. On a straightaway, you can go lightly on the brakes, but you're in a lot of danger. And sure enough, halfway down the mountain, here was a pickup all smashed up, hanging halfway in the ditch, and the police were on site already. And the driver was out and was fine, but the smash up, and then a little further down, oh, there's another smash up. It's like, see, it is slippery. I think I've driven these roads often enough to automatically, if I see a wet road, I look in the mirror, look for that mist. If there's no mist, you're not driving on a wet road. Leave the river beside. I'm not sure what it's called. Maybe it's the Salmon River. It flows south and then kind of start turning west and runs into the Pend Oreille River, and the Pend Oreille River flows west and goes into the Columbia River. So it's basically the Pend Oreille and the Columbia are fairly eco-sized rivers. So the Columbia River basically doubles in size as it crosses the border into the U.S. And the Pend Oreille River barely loops into Canada. Most of that river is in the U.S. Turning out of the sun here momentarily. And the climb starts. You guys want to hear this engine working hard? It's about to start working hard. Slow down for these corners first. The river's pouring pretty good. I was going to try to shoot video a little later on the day, but having that 1 hour meeting there, I'm like, no, I better start recording right away because it's going to get dark soon. Alright, we got the pedal to the metal. Get a little bit of speed here, but we're climbing, so we're not going to be able to get all the way up to the speed limit, I don't think, before the steep section starts. We're at 86 right now and 100, so we're trying. I burnt my burger, and I think that smoke in the truck is bothering me. I don't have any cough drops up there. Do I have any down here? Nope. Oh well. I know there's some in the bag. I just gotta dig them out. I always have spares of the consumables. Got extra cough drops, extra toothpicks. Need those. Don't brush my truck or brush my teeth as a truck driver much, but I floss regularly and use toothpicks. Extra barbecue sauce, extra mustard, extra relish, extra all the stuff that doesn't go bad. You got extras. Kind of staying at the 84 mark. That's all she's got. It should be a fairly beautiful climb here. Should be getting into the snow. Not sure how much it's melted over here, but snowing yesterday. Yesterday was a disaster, so I'm assuming there's snow up further. Unless it got warm enough to melt it all. Forward flashers on, down to 50 kilometers per hour, and we are loaded very, very close to our maximum weight. I haven't gone over a scale to check. So, how heavy would I be? In pounds, if I was right maxed out, I could go 85 on my bridge, plus my steers. Steers are about 11, usually with a load. So I'm probably about 96,000 pounds right now. That would put me at 45,000 kilograms. That's my overall weight, give or take. That'd be my guess. Very, very, very close. Within 1,000 pounds for sure. Almost willing to say within 500 pounds. But that's a light load compared to our Super Bees. And this is a US load, so even lighter. Still heavy. was a Canadian load for this quad axle, I would go 102,700 pounds. Is that right? Kilogram would be 46 and a half, 46,500. 46,500 kilogram would be a Canadian load. And Super Bs, I haven't run those long enough. It's been what, over a year? I can't remember what our max weight was on those. But heavier. It was definitely heavier. Got a pickup towing some kind of trailer and a empty logging truck. Empty logging truck probably has driven this thing often enough that he knows there's a passing lane coming. Yeah, starting to see a little bit of snow up there. I know I probably did Cooney Pass not that long ago, but short days, my choices of what to film are a lot less. So we'll film wherever there's daylight, even if we're repeating the same highway. What is he hauling? Maybe a vehicle under a tarp? Yeah, I think that's some kind of vehicle underneath the tarp. Yep, definitely seeing snow up there. Yeah, and at least my radio came back today. It didn't work for the rest of the day yesterday, which was super annoying. But today morning when I booted up the truck, the radio came back and I'm like, yes! I get to listen to my podcast again. And Sirius XM. Whatever I'm in the mood for. I like silence too. I run a lot of the day completely silent. Usually I start the mornings with music, and then have some silent during the day, and then in the evening I listen to podcasts because I find a really interesting podcast that I have a lot of interest in keep me wide awake, right? And that way, if always you're feeling any kind of tired, hop on a podcast and listen to a really good podcast or a good book on audible.com. You stay wide awake if you have something good to listen to. Music, sometimes it can make you sleepier because you're relaxing too much. But podcasts are into that story. Saw this puff of smoke come out of the trailer. I'm like, what was that? I think it actually came from underneath the truck. Probably the air tank sneezing, releasing air, and then it's going to be all that light salt and gravel and sand they put on the road kicking up when it then sneezes, because it's just one big puff and then it's gone again. So I think it's just dust getting blown up. Here, let's put the power divider lock on. The light came on almost immediately. We now have power to both axles. As we get into more of this wet road and snowy road. We got an empty Sutco Super B chip truck coming up the hill. That's why I knew he was empty. It's blazing up the hill. Yeah, this is looking pretty promising. As soon as we start getting into the snow, I'll put the diff locks on as well. But for now, we'll just keep the power divider lock on. And sometimes I use the power divider lock in perfectly summer weather too. If it's a lot of loose sand or gravel, put the power divider lock on so I'm not spinning the tires easily. Rainy weather, put the power divider lock on. If you're light, if you're heavy load, you don't need to. But if you're light, it's not too hard to spin the tires on these things. a lot of gravel on the road here. Gravel is really important on passes. They put the bigger gravel instead of sand on these passes because it gives us a lot of grip climbing these mountains. When there's gravel in the snow, you have a lot more grip than without gravel. But unfortunately, gravel means chipped windshields pretty quick. We're climbing at about 38 kilometers per hour. So all these pull-outs were all busy yesterday. Everybody chaining up. I don't know if we're going to get any snow today. We'll see. The sign said compact snow, but I expected to be in it by now. We're almost to the top. Emergency response signal somewhere in the U.S. The U.S. uses VHF for emergency services. Might as well turn that down. Keep it high enough on the mountain to get U.S. signals coming in. Slush here. Won't be long before we won't have 3 lanes here. Slowly as the snow comes down on the mountain there, it slowly comes further and further out in the road, and eventually we'll just have 2 lanes here. And there's never any signing that there is technically a passing lane going up. Everybody just knows not to pass because it's just 2 lanes. Even though technically these 2 lanes are all uphill during the winter, one of the lanes becomes downhill. And just, I guess, common sense, people listen to it. Celsius, definitely cooling off. Lots of icicles hanging off the cliffs. That's it. Won't even need my power divider locks. Cool. Jump out and do our brake check. Also check the load, make sure all our straps are staying nice and tight. Let him go first. If he's ready to go, we'll let him go first. lots of grip, so don't need our power divider lock anymore. Got my cookies. Cookie. A lot of water in a day. I don't drink coffee because I believe what coffee does is make me really alert in the morning and then drowsy halfway through the day. So I figure the best way to wake up in the morning and not be tired is get enough hours of sleep. Go to bed early enough. I like to get between 7 and 8 hours of sleep a night. Does me just fine. No coffee needed. Although I do have that addiction to sugar. Too much sugar, that is my crutch. That is my thing I have to try to reduce. Having said that, I drink water. I don't drink pop, no sugary drinks. So, I've tried to reduce those things. I used to drink pop all the time. I can hear myself think again. Turn the engine fan off. Cruise down. That climb is the biggest, hardest, longest climb this truck will ever do. Those of you new to the channel will go, what about the Coquihalla? Coquihalla's got nothing compared to this pass. lot of drivers that refuse to do this pass in the winter. And there's a detour not to take this pass. It's quite a bit longer, but you can loop around the north side of this mountain. You have to take a ferry. I've thought about it. It's like, man, those conditions are horrible up there. Guaranteed I have to chain up. There's no way around it. I have to chain up. It's going to be a lot of fun digging up that. Maybe I should take the ferry. So I turn on the radio and listen, and I just hear truck after truck saying they're taking the ferry. I'm like, you know how many hours I'm going to sit to wait to cross on that ferry? The lineups are going to be tremendous. I'm like, nope, we'll just take our time over the mountains. Even if we have to drive at 20 kilometers per hour with chains on, dig our way over, it'll save us time compared to taking the ferry. My right steer wheel caught a little bit of that slush, but it just pulls you toward the concrete barrier. No posts. Well, I've got brand new steer tires, brand new winter drive tires, so I got lots of grip. It makes a big difference having good tires. Mini avalanche off the tree. That's always cool. I bought a washer fluid already and filled it up yesterday morning. I looked at it today morning, but I'm like, yeah, I'll be fine. And I used so much washer fluid going over pulse. Guess I should top it off when I get down to the bottom here somewhere. Beautiful. I'll always love when the trees are hanging full of snow like this. Hopefully I get to do this run in mid-February. Show you guys how much snow is up here in mid-February. Okay. I think that ba-bing is just to say it's synchronized with the cloud. The sock is feeling uncomfortable. Getting to that altitude where everything in the back is popping and crackling. So as you go up to the top of the mountain, every bag of chips, anything with air in it that's sealed bulges out, and then as you come back down, it all contracts. Just so water bottles and stuff are all clicking in and stuff. Some products will blow up. Gotta be careful with yogurt, chips. If you start the bottom of the mountain with ice cubes in your cooler, by the time you get to the top of the mountain, it'll be slush. It'll be ice shavings, because all the little air bubbles in the water all expand and break the ice cubes into thousands of little pieces. This pass isn't too bad as far as altitude. Like, I've been over some passes in the US where we had everything blowing up with our personal vehicle. It's like, whoa, 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 we are a lot higher than we thought. Chips, blood bags blowing up, kaboof. Our cooler just crackling like there's fireworks in it. And no, we don't think about our ears popping. As a flatlander, going up in small hills, I would have struggle at getting my ears to pop. You move to BC and you really struggle in the mountains with your ears to pop. Then after a couple of years, you don't even notice anymore. Your body just does it. It's just part of everyday life. People that have born in the mountains and lived up here all their lives don't even know that feeling. They don't understand that uncomfortable ear popping feeling. If I start paying attention, I can notice where it happens, but I have to actually pay attention and think of it. Like, oh yeah, my body just the ear pop thing. Ears don't pop, it's going to be very, very, very painful. I've seen it happen to people on plane where they're in absolutely agonizing pain, and you can actually rupture your eardrum if you can't get it to pop. I guess our hour is up, isn't it? Can I get off the road? Yeah. Well guys, I'm gonna pull over in Creston here and fill up our washer fluid and then head down south to Spokane. Tomorrow we're loading in Spokane and delivering in Trail. Trail? Nelson? I don't know, somewhere near. So it should be a nice easy run. Hopefully we get reloaded tomorrow to wherever we're headed. Today's Wednesday, Thursday. Oh, we'll see how that goes. See how many more runs I get this week. Anyway, I just would like to say thank you to all of those guys that have stuck around and stayed as subscribers, and the new people that have hit that subscribe button. Really appreciate all the views. I noticed a whole bunch of you guys are watching the videos right to the end of the video, so thank you. It means I'm not completely boring. I don't think anybody else on YouTube is doing exactly what I'm doing, so I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing because it's different. Try to give you guys a real feel what actual trucking is, at least 1 hour worth of it. Even though I get to do up to 14 hours of it. Well, 13 hours of driving in a day. Excuse me. But anyway, thank you guys again. I have not shot the bonus video yet for this week. It's going to get harder and harder to do that these days, so I got to think of that. Hopefully I have a chance to do that tomorrow morning. I am out of here. Thank you guys again. You guys rock.
This video is brought to you in part by the letter C and these YouTube members. Cookie starts with C. What other things start with C? Oh, who cares what other things? C is for cookie, and that's good enough for me. Thanks for watching. I'm done.
Thank you.